This is a guide on how to make a really good mug brownie. The other day I was sitting in my bedroom in my chair that's just a little bit too small, and I really wanted a dessert. But the only problem is when I go to the grocery store, I usually forget to get desserts, so I usually just have a bunch of snacks and like actual food stuff. This results in me not really having like cookies or ice cream or anything like that, so if we want something sweet, we're gonna have to make it from scratch. And one simple recipe that I enjoy doing a lot, and I've made it more times than any recipe I've posted on this channel, is a mug brownie. So for this recipe, you'll need 2 tablespoons of sugar, 4 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of melted butter or vegetable oil. I actually ran out of vegetable oil, so I'm using olive oil. It actually works pretty much the same, so either works. 2 tablespoons of milk. For this I used almond milk, and also usually I add a little bit extra just for texture. I'll explain that later though. 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. For this I used imitation vanilla because I don't want to waste the good stuff on this. A little pinch of salt, and whatever extra ingredient you want to add. For this I added some semi-sweet chocolate morsels and some butterscotch that I had left over. But I've also done this where I've added just a big old spoon of peanut butter. That makes it taste pretty good. But yeah, whatever you think tastes good in this. You'll also need your favorite coffee mug, 1 tablespoon measurer, 1/4 teaspoon measurer, and a spoon. This is my favorite coffee mug. I got it at a Goodwill. I have no idea who these 2 characters are. They look familiar, but I honestly don't know. Me and my roommate resorted to calling them Jumbly and Lobo, so that's what I call them. So if you really know who these characters are, please let me know, because I am genuinely curious and I can't find it anywhere. So yeah. So this recipe is pretty simple, and that's one of the reasons why I like making it. What you're going to do is take all of the dry ingredients, that's the flour, sugar, cocoa powder, and a pinch of salt, and mix them all into the mug. And then you'll add the wet ingredients, that's the oil, milk, and vanilla, or imitation vanilla, and then go ahead and get everything all stirred up. As I mentioned earlier, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of milk. I found that this doesn't seem to be quite enough. It kind of makes it a little too cakey, and it's not very moist when you only do 2 tablespoons. So I kind of eyeball it and just add in a little bit more. It might be about a half a tablespoon, maybe. But yeah, you want it to be more like a batter than like a dough. I feel like it's very doughy when you only do 2 tablespoons. So add in a little bit extra and then get it to this consistency. Kind of soupy, I guess. Not soupy, but more like battery, I guess. And then you can go ahead and add in whatever extra ingredient you wanted to add. Like I said earlier, I'll be adding in a handful of butterscotch chips and some chocolate chips. And then go ahead and mix that up as well. Then you can lick the spoon. Sorry, Mom. Oh, actually, there's no eggs in this, so not sorry, Mom. My mom always says not to lick the spoon or the batter when it has eggs in it, so that doesn't really apply this time though. And then you put it in the microwave. What I usually do is I'll do a minute, and then I'll wait. And after a minute, it's not quite done, so I put it back in for another 30 seconds. And then I'll wait some more. And there you go, a mug brownie, or a brownie in a mug. Pretty simple recipe. It's not as perfect or as tasty as a normal brownie, but I still think it tastes pretty good, and it only requires a couple ingredients and maybe like 5 minutes of your time to make it. So definitely recommend this one. Also make sure that it cools down for a few minutes before you start eating it. I always forget and I get impatient and usually burn my tongue. I actually burned my tongue for this video, so yeah. Just be careful and yeah, enjoy.